Shanti. Good evening. Welcome to the Friday night meditation. And that time, that day has come that I've been talking about for about, 6 weeks now. A retreat on the secrets of silence. And it's here. In fact, you've just finished the introduction to it if you've come. So if you haven't, it's not too late to sign up. You can just, somewhere on this page, you can find the invitation to it. It's free. Highly, highly recommended. Sister Denise is a powerful yogi soul. And you can learn a lot just by listening. But if you listen and join in, it'll be even greater. The subject? Silence. The subject is silence. Did you know that silence is your original nature? If you just go back even into the womb, that was silence. So we really enjoy silence. And the whole idea of returning, so many souls are interested in getting out of this world of noise and pollution and violence and into the void of silence, nirvana. It's silent. But here we are. We're alive. We're in the world of sound. We act. We interact. We experience. That makes silence all the more important. To find what we're all looking for is balance. And another word for balance that's even more touchy-feely, harmony. I'm looking for harmony in my life. And if I'm truly interested in finding this, I will come face to face with the necessity of silence. It's really stage one. Stage one to personal transformation is silence. Because in the silence, it's the only way that you can see what work has to be done. It's being quiet. It's like having a big mess of things everywhere and you want to get ready for a party, but there are toys and items and so many things on the floor of years and years of not putting them away, unfinished. Think hoarders. And I remember seeing one of those shows, and one of the ways that they help the hoarders is not to take away from them what they think that they need, because that would be a form of violence, but to just repurpose it. And one of the things is just starting to collect. Starting to put things into groups. So just like my thoughts, that let me collect some of these, the big tubs that they have that you can seal, these baskets or crates or plastic boxes that they have. And you can just put all the things in there. So I identify what they are and put them into the right place. And then I can close it, and then that space is there. I could even put a marker on it. So I don't feel that I'm giving up anything. It's the emotions that I have, the memories that I have. I have them all blocked, but here they are now, and I have a big file. Maybe I use a whole room. Maybe I use 2 rooms. Maybe I use a warehouse of things I can stow away. That I know where they are, and I just go to my little file, and I can find them when I need them, so I can get the comfort that I need. But what you realize that as you start to identify in the silence is that you haven't looked at those things in some time. They're just there. So they're no longer needed. And they can be let go of, or repurposed, or shared. So stage number 1 of silence is just the act of observation, the act of introspection. Silence is not the absence of sound. It's the absence of words. Words are what? Words are something that we use to express, more than anything else, thoughts and feelings. Thoughts still remain in silence. Feelings still remain in silence. But as I let go of the necessity to just keep what you often refer to as the drivel of thoughts coming out, my personal power is not deleted because I'm focusing. So we start number 1 with observation, then identification of what's valuable and what's not. And then I just make the simple thing, I'm going to stick with what's valuable and let go of what's not as valuable. The language of silence is resonance. There's music in silence. Music doesn't need to have words, but it still can have a powerful effect upon you. It's using vibration, sound vibration, resonance to create a state, like a tuning fork. Makes me think of those singing bowls that everyone likes to hear now. There's something about it that harmonizes with a vibration in me which is good and clean and powerful and pure. And so I like to hear that because it makes me feel good. I don't need to have words. As a matter of fact, why do I find further words and further thoughts? Is that I'm looking for something to be content about. I'm looking for happiness. I'm looking for pleasure. And really, the silence is not so much the silence of words, but it's the silence of the mind. That there's only those thoughts which have benefit for myself and others. And this, of course, is the process where I continually identify and let go of that which is no longer necessary. If I'm just doing that alone, it means that now my personal power is not being dissipated by sharing it with so many other things. Instead of having 27 thoughts, I now have only 6. So the same power in 6 thoughts is much more than 27 different items. And as I continue to narrow that down, I'm looking for, of course, just the one. There's a very popular phrase of living in the now. And that's really what describes silence, is that if I'm truly in the now, I'm at one with that moment. And that is what silence is, really. It's about being in one with the moment that I am, that there's no other thoughts, no other vibrations trying to pull me elsewhere. I'm totally happy and satisfied in this moment alone. I'm aware. I'm not blind. I'm not being repressed. I'm totally excited about what this moment is, and there's no other thought that even comes to me. That's the aim, is to live a life like that. So now, think of this workshop as a chance to find the tools necessary in order to produce harmony and silence. Let's try it for a minute. Let me put on a little music. Let's try this. Start with a few breaths. That's not the one, this one. There we go. So let's, first of all, just exhale all the air out of your body. Inhale. Pull it in deep, get a lot of breath. Hold it for a moment. Let it go, exhale. Again. feeling different already. Exhale. One more. Don't be afraid. Really do it. And exhale. Like a blanket. A blanket of air. Exhaling. A blanket of breath. I already want more silence. In the silence I can see. Are you a body with a soul, or a soul with a body? Silence will tell you the answer. So when I misidentify, just starting with myself, when I misidentify myself, or an event, or a situation, or another human being, when I misidentify, then because it doesn't work, because it's not accurate, I need more and more thoughts in order to find my balance. If I identify correctly, then there's no need to move around to another thought. The number one identification is of the self. I am consciousness. I'm a soul with a body. My nature is peace. Now, just because that's not my experience doesn't mean it's not my nature. My nature is peace. This is the essence of silence. Why do you think we're always looking for peace and quiet? Happiness and love come from this. It depends on the purity of my own silence, the degree with which I have silence. So I suggest, I enthusiastically speak to you. Go within. Take time outs. Check the traffic of the mind. Just observe it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to take the moment to observe, to unplug. It's really to unplug. Take yourself off this grid of the world and plug into self-identification, which is I, the soul, an embodiment of peace. If there's one thing you want, just start with that phrase. I, the soul, am an embodiment of peace. All right, you'll learn much more about it by watching The Weekend by voices that are stronger and more clear than mine. Om Shanti. See you again soon.